Hello and welcome to Night's Black Agents, which I've subtitled Underworld Promises on the videos. This is session 3 of our arc for the first quarter of 2021. And my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him. This session is part of the Gauntlet Gaming Calendar, which is an online gaming community, online gaming club. We have a Patreon that supports that. We have an app for signups. We have a little bit of an RSV period, like a couple of days for people who back us on the Patreon, but that anybody can sign up on the calendar. They have wait lists for things. And if you're interested in this game, we're doing our open gaming weekend the end of February, running that last weekend, that Thursday through Sunday. I'm going to do at least one session of a mini module, the Van Helsing letter module, which is out there, was kind of a free form one on that. And we've got a number of other people who are running sessions for that. You can find out more about all of that at gauntlet-rpg.com. We are in the thick of it, and I'm going to have our players introduce their characters here, and then we'll get rolling into things. Has everyone taken their refresh from between session refresh? Don't forget to do that. While you're thinking about that, I'll mention for those who are watching at home, as with all Gauntlet calendar games, we have the use of safety tools. We have the X card on the table. We did a CATS to discuss things at the start. We have an open door policy. And then we're also using lines and veils. So a refresher on what we have marked as lines: harm to children, homophobia, racism, sexual assault, as well as virus, pandemic, plague. And then a veil, meaning a fall to kind of a shadow when this happens, on dental horror, harm to animals, sexual content, and torture. So let me come to our characters, and let's start with Henry. Give us the pitch on who you are.
Hello, my name's Alan. I use he, him. I'm playing Henrietta Michaels, Henry to her friends, she, her. Former MI6 agent, expert at disguises and pretending to be other people. I am channeling Orphan Black in all her variations. And she had a rough time. Actually, she's had a rough time throughout this. She has not had a good time. Things went very badly last time when she was hoping to infiltrate a biotech lab and stop an explosion. There was an explosion. And when the others went off to do more interesting things, she sat in the safe house just to draw her breath. But she has just discovered that she is not alone in the safe house.
And then Will, tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm playing Jimmy Rook, pronouns he, him. Jimmy is an ex-squaddy who then turned to a life of crime, became an unofficial MI6 asset, and he's a bit of an all-rounder on the team, really. In over his head, and but looking to make things, to turn the tide against the undead conspiracy.
And currently, you are in a graveyard, having just seen a procession of what we might call cultists coming out of the deeper part of the graveyard and heading back to the wine cafe, the Cave du Vin, that they have seemingly gathered at. And you're kind of there when you're getting Henrietta's message, and you're a ways away from the safe house.
Mm.
And then let's come to Pavel. Tell us about your character.
Hello, good evening. I'm Pavel. I use he, him pronoun. I play Karl, who is a wet worker from Polish Ground Force. Last time, Karl was seen trying to sniff out enemy extraction team. And then he went to check the parking lots, where he found one of the groups that is trying to frame us and kidnapped a person that he believes has some answers while being dressed as a blue-collar worker, and we will see how it goes.
And there was a situation that went down where you crossed paths with the extraction team, but weren't able to decisively deal with them. Neither were they able to decisively deal with you. And both you and Peter took wounds that for a time weren't healing. And the place you are is a parking lot and essentially a heavy vehicle that they're meeting in. You've black bagged our target and have pulled back to where our final character is at that point. Paul, tell us about who you are.
Hi, I'm Paul, he, him, and the character I'm playing is Peter Skellen, also he, him, and he's an ex-GCHQ British sort of analyst type character. He tends to play the man in a van role, and he's the yin to Carl Potts's yang. Me and Carl quite often get up to escapades together, and we are both now involved in black bagging a woman from this vehicle that was parked up.
And let's frame this a little bit more in your favor. The security manager for PRX Biochemicals or Biogenics, who is clearly involved in setting all of you up and the bombing. So let's be specific just to get that in frame. Henry. Now, one of the things that happened in session 1 is you established this safe house. And we talked about it as an echo of the house that you had gone to that had been set up as an evidence room against all of you. So we're in a not great part of Paris, a kind of industrial edged residential area. You're in an apartment building that is not particularly occupied. You're on the second floor, so that people can't come in the window, but maybe you could get out. But of course, you've got things blackout, you've got things spread around, the various evidence and computer tablets, the stuff that you've picked up from the various things around. You've had a moment where you called a number that you didn't recognize. You heard a voice, you recognized Morgane's voice, and she asked where you were, and then that voice in the back of your head said, "Tell her," and you did not. And you hung the phone up and realized how dim and shadowy it is in the safe house when you contacted your comrades to tell them that you think that you're not alone. What do you do?
I think I said that I backed away into a corner.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a desk on one side with a desk light. Maybe the window is just over there. And I think I've got a gun in one hand, and I just move the desk light up and try to scan the room I'm in.
And that will go, the shadows, as you shift, you get that thing where you hit an object, and as you turn the light, the shadow behind it kind of shifts. You get that phase shifting of the lights there. And at one point when it shifts for a second, maybe you see an old man, but then he's gone. And you hear, "You Brits, always putting your nose in where it doesn't belong. Poking around. Oh, yes, we'll help you. We'll help your country. We'll be in there. Oh, everything will be fine. Oh, but we just have to stay a few more years." And the accent is very, very Greek, like English with a deep Greek accent that I certainly can't attempt to do.
What do you want?
Well, I wanted you to tell her where we are, but you didn't do that. And now we have to take a different approach.
Fumble with the phone.
Don't do that.
I was just going to phone her. Just hit redial.
And then it gets quiet. Like the voice doesn't say anything, but you can still almost like you're moving the light around, but you still feel like the shadows still keep kind of shifting and moving.
I think I've got a gun in one hand and a phone in the other. The light is wherever it was.
Okay. Do you hit redial?
Yes.
Okay. It'll ring
And
twice.
put it on speaker.
Okay. And that will come up, and like there's clearly like a couple of count. You can imagine on the other end of the line, there's probably a team saying, okay, wait, keep them on the line, all that kind of stuff. Hello?
I'm at, and I give her the address, assuming that the hello is Morgaine.
Yeah.
And then I hang up. Do we have a deal? I say to the shadows.
I want you to make an interpersonal spend. What do you think it is that you are doing to seal this deal?
I think I'm negotiating. I think I'm trying to stay calm and negotiate.
Okay. Make a spend from that.
I will. If I spend, I mean, is this about staying cool or negotiating? What I'm wondering is if I spend one from negotiate, can I roll with cool?
I'm actually, if you just spend the one from negotiate, I'm gonna, if unless you want to push for more.
No,
if
that's
you
fine.
want,
I'll spend one from negotiate.
Okay, that's good. He says,
Orpheus. Do we have a deal, Orpheus?
I am not Orpheus.
Then what do I call you?
I think that's a little much to tell you, but I will say this. Enemies of my enemy, we are not the only souls who haunt the darkness, and you have been put to bite at our heels by others.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Friend.
Oh, I don't think that's the case, do you? Stay away from Barcelona. Stay away from Istanbul. Door comes open somewhere, and then and it's very quiet in here now. He might be gone.
I put the phone down and go back to the light, see if I can spot the moving shadow.
Okay. You will take a minute or two. I mean, you reach any light that you can turn on in here is getting turned on until you have this room as illuminated as possible, and nothing seems to move or shift here.
And then I ring the team and say, we may be blown.
The thing that will surprise you is you have a lot of that evidence and materials and stuff. Certainly the stuff you took for Morgaine's apartment and the things you got off the assassin's body, didn't grab those, and didn't try to kill you. So maybe this thing not in the best of shape. Maybe it could have killed you, but
for whatever reason it chose not to. turn all the lights on, start packing, beginning with evidence and incriminating materials.
Okay. So I think that right now we're going to kind of do in parallel. We might actually rewind a minute or two to where Carl and Peter are. You've got this woman in the back of the van. You've got her, secured. Where do you want to go?
I think first thing first, because I didn't say I'm doing it, but there's a cool talent that I can declare radioactively. I'm marking a deft touch, and we get a short replay of what happened as I was tasing Natalie. And I close, and just before I did it, I like closed the door to the van, and we see that I like put something on the inside of the door as I was closing it, and we now like Carl just says to Peter, bug number 5, meaning I planted a bug on the door.
That seems fine.
Camera and like a microphone.
Have that tagged. That means you can use surveillance later to draw info from that site. Peter, where are you driving? You are muted.
I think we'll drive round Paris to a suburb, quite a distance away from their vehicle, and definitely from PBX. And so just find a quiet side street.
I think
really a dark alley.
Yeah, I think you find a relatively secluded area, off from surveillance cameras, off from anything else. But I do think that is the point at which you get that notice from Henry that the safe house is blown. What do you say back?
I think I'll say to Henry that can you make your own way to location 2?
I'm going to try.
Me and Carl are right in the middle of something. And we don't really want to bring what we've found with us.
Okay.
Maybe Jimmy could, if you need, do you need technical assistance?
What I need is as many pairs of hands just to shift anything valuable over here.
So let's cut to Jimmy, who's just watched these people go into this cafe when you get Henry coming over the line saying, safe house is blown.
I swear, I squint at the thing, but I can't leave this cemetery without checking out what they were doing inside there. And I jog in, looking around me in a rush, hoping to use my survival skill to follow tracks and traces, locate sustenance. I'm not going to locate
Absolutely.
sustenance. You know what I mean?
So you're jogging, even as you're having whatever conversation you're having with Henry.
I'm pretending I've not heard it.
Okay.
I'll deal with it when I've done this.
Absolutely. You will, with a survival spend, you'll be able to follow the tracks back. Again, still a little bit foggy here. And you will come to an area. It's been modestly concealed, but it is clearly a walk down into the Parisian underground. And you can see that the steps go down into the damp and the dark, and it looks like it goes down a ways. It's not super concealed, but ordinary checking and things like that, they've got some cover on this. But it does look like they must have some kind of is it the catacombs of Paris? Is that yeah, it leads down into there.
Okay. And I think Jimmy's about to go through it when, in his ear he hears, we're busy, he kind of goes, oh, for fuck's sake. Takes a picture of it, to make sure that he knows and he can bring people back here. Gets the GPS the coordinates, in fact. So perhaps if we were to do some research and stuff later, we might be able to, maps of the catacombs, whatever.
Okay.
And then I jog over to I guess the crappy car that I bought for like 200 euros, no questions asked, and drive back to the safe house.
Okay, so you are on your way there. So then, Peter, Carl, back at the van. Are
Yeah, I
you
think
leaving the hood on, taking the hood off? How are you?
Hood on currently.
Okay.
I'm going to pass a note to Carl, so clearly the target can't see it, saying Henry needs our assistance. We can't take this asset anywhere near there. You're the only one with the skills to question her. Do you want me to stay, or do you want me to leave you with the target?
Carl looks at you and says, "We don't get there before anything else, so we might as well stay here."
Okay, yeah. So you want me to stay?
Yeah,
Fine.
just maybe out of sight. They already know my face, not yours.
Yeah. So I'll be in the front of the van with an earpiece to Carl while you go to work tenderizing the meat.
Just a question, because I plan to use like the people in the truck as a leverage. Do we get like a video feed? Are they like still there talking about stuff or not?
You have the sense that they are waiting. However, there is that bit where they're clearly looking like, okay, in a few minutes they're going to start going, okay, where is she? You're not sure how they're armed or armored right now. You'd guess their number at 3, maybe 4 people in there.
Sure. I think Carl takes off the bag and I think it's called smelling salts.
Yeah.
Yep. Given the threat of good night or dynamite, Carl, choice is hers.
Let's try the nice Carl. We'll see where to go. We get, I don't know.
So the smelling salts go under the nose. She's professional enough that she doesn't immediately struggle. That she kind of stops and she checks her restraints. She checks where the cuff ties have been put. She kind of moves her head to get a sense of like how the bag's wrapped on her. And then she gets quiet, like she's listening to try and judge the size of the room, what kind of thing you're in. She can probably tell, just by the feel of this that she's in a van.
I take like the hood off. Carl is like totally hoping that to have like a face-to-face conversation, and they already know who Carl is, so somehow probably. So yeah, Carl takes the bags off. He says, "Good evening, Mrs. Tolbert. So nice to finally meet you."
Who are you?
Oh, I bet you know who I am. Now the question is reversed, because you apparently know me, but I have no idea who are you. So why don't you start talking?
You think she may not actually recognize your face. She says, so I'm the chief of security for a chemical company, and I'm sure that if you contact the right people, that if this is a kidnapping situation, that they'll be willing to,
Yes. I'm sure. Let's cut the crap. Who's your master, and what you and the other dudes in the truck are planning?
Show her a picture of false Carl. Maybe she'll identify him.
Yeah, why not? Carl turns and they grabs the photo of the dead body and he puts it in front of her. As you see, I'm not dead. I'm still alive.
And there's the moment where she kind of starts to piece something together. Why don't you make a questioning spend?
Yes. Hopefully, I have some. I have a few left, so yes.
Okay. So this was business, and there was, how do I put this best? We were told to set up an incident at PRX, given a portfolio of Fall Guys. And I take it that you are them, or at least one of them.
Wow, you are a real Sherlock. So, who gave you the portfolio?
She says, I was put into place. I was hired out about 2011. I've been working various corporate security operations to sanitize me for going on a decade. Simple stuff, going in, working, managing stuff for corporations. And then about 18 months ago, start of 2020, I was put into place here. The previous head of security got stuck in England when the quarantine went down, and then he passed away. And essentially, I was sitting here until I got further orders, and then I was told to arrange the shooting, confirm with that, and the bombing.
Ask, was it Barcelona, Carl? Did the order come from Barcelona?
Was it Barcelona's order?
No, I was told to stay away from Barcelona. My sense is, and I'll say this, my sense is that, Eurydice Investments is in Barcelona. They own PRX. I have the sense that the people who put me in place and hired me are no fans of them. And I was always told to stay away from snooping around about Barcelona, so I didn't draw any attention that way.
So I think she could be in play, Carl, not through Barcelona, but she maybe works for the guy that's just lent on Henry, possibly.
What do you want to ask, there, Carl?
Excuse me?
Yeah. What do you think you want to? What do you want to get? Kind of gotten some good information out of that round of questioning. Do you want to take a minute to chew on that, or do you have some other things you immediately want to follow up on?
I think let's take a minute to chew on this, and maybe some more questions will arise from
yeah. So we'll come back to you two on that round and do essentially part 2 of that set of questioning. So Henry, you want to get this packed up as quickly as possible, right?
Using anything I can to just take the important stuff and the incriminating stuff.
I think I want you to make either a cool or a preparedness roll and this is basically to get this place spotless.
Yeah. How do you feel about spending tradecraft?
I think that's perfect. Yeah, if you want to spend that as a tactical benefit
Fine.
to give you 3 points.
Yeah, and I'll roll +3 then.
Okay.
Which gets me to a 10.
10.
That was a
So
good spend.
Everything is put into place. Anything that you think isn't going to be valuable, but you've got scanned or whatever, goes into a thermite box that you've got set aside. You grab everything. You do a quick vacuum, spray down. You get all of the materials together and out, and it's probably 2 or 3 backpacks worth, because you've got people's equipment that was left behind and things like that. And you think you're set, but you're definitely going to need Jimmy to help you get this stuff out.
Well, I'm wondering
Mm-hmm.
Whether one way to come at this would be to make a preparedness spend to have, one of those big kind of cleaning trolleys.
Oh, okay.
Everything goes in there. The blonde wig goes on, and the cleaner, overalls.
Yeah, you know what? I think you had a 10 plus on the roll on the tradecraft on that, so I think that's fair for you to do. The only hiccup is the lack of ramps and having to go into the aged elevator with the floor that's kind of slightly buckled that you get into. Jimmy, you've coordinated with Henry, but you also know the safe house is blown. So how do you want to play this?
I drive around the block.
Okay.
I don't go straight there. I drive around the block. I give a nice little, see if anything stands out to my eye.
Absolutely. You've got, notice you've got surveillance.
Mm-hmm.
You will take a run around the block, and you won't see anything in the area, but you do hear sirens coming.
Shit. I pull in close and jump out of the car and quickly power walk in to go and grab whatever bags and things I need to grab and get dumped back in the car and get out of there.
Well, what I'd suggest is the arrangement will be you're parked around the back by the bins. So when I'm going out to empty the rubbish into the bins, I simply throw it into the back seat, get in, you drive away.
Yes, entirely. Yeah.
Don't leave the getaway car.
Yeah.
And I think we get that aerial shot of the back alley and your car taking off this direction, from overhead. And then we see the police cars rolling in the front and the flashing lights of the gendarmes as you will peel out of there.
Yeah. I don't know if this is appropriate, but let's say I think I know somewhere we can go. Didn't want to call them in.
Where are you gonna go?
Well, it's funny. Cash has ended up in Paris. My key contact.
Mm-hmm.
Has a fabulous warehouse loft style apartment, lots of free space. She has lots of places around Europe. I know of this one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's not in. She wouldn't mind me and a few friends sleeping on the couch.
So yeah, if you want to mark that. essentially to utilize that key contact rather than for a refresh for essentially a temporary safe house. Or if you want, you can just roll network.
Well, I was wondering about setting it up to do. I was maybe pushing a bit far to try and do both and set it up to get a refresh when I go there, and inevitably she's actually already in this apartment.
Okay.
And now I have to explain to her why the fuck I'm here.
Then I think I want a let's have you mark that. You'll roll up. This is a much nicer neighborhood in Paris than you have been dossing down for the last while. And you'll pull up. It has a doorman, security. It's an old style a building with a beautiful loft on it. And you kind of talk your way past the doorman to go on up, and you're kind of following in Jimmy's wake, I assume, at this point, Henry?
Yes, each of us carrying a rucksack and him carrying the third one.
Big duffel bag over my shoulder.
And you get up to that third floor, you'll pop the lock, you'll go in, and like the second you go in, you can hear music. Yeah, that's playing in another room in here, and you maybe hear the clinking of glasses somewhere.
Shit. Look, Henry, just stay here. I'll just showers that way. And I'm gonna I'm gonna spend preparedness to have flowers now. I'm just gonna go around the corner with a big smile on my face. Fish out the bottle of whiskey that probably Peter's whiskey that we had in the safe house.
Okay.
Or brandy or whatever it was. And come around the corner with a smile on my face. If I can go into, like grab a pair of glasses from the, probably there in the kitchen, actually. I'll just go around with a corner and go like, well, hello. I didn't think you'd be home.
I think we see the back of a couch.
Yeah.
We can see, there's a kind of fire in the fireplace there. We see this person who has a hypodermic sticking out of their neck. They're clearly unconscious, and you will see that Cassia is sitting there. She has a gun and she's pointing at you, and she goes, "Well, fuck."
Sorry to interrupt, love.
Now you made me waste a sedative.
Well, plenty more where that came from, eh? More fish in the sea. More rohypnol in the old chemist.
You're paying me back for blowing this job.
Oh, of course, love. But I do have a small favor to ask.
Well, first, help me carry him to the second bedroom.
No worries. Pick up his feet and I go, so what's this all about?
It's working to get some leads. I was hoping to do a little social engineering to make my job a little bit easier on something, and you interrupted, and I wasn't sure if it was somebody a little more dangerous. So
I'm wounded, Kasha, wounded. But it's not just me. I've got some friends who need a place to crash for just a little while.
I think that's the point at which Henry comes round the corner.
Yeah.
What do you look like,
from
Henry?
The second bedroom?
What is your attire at this point?
Well, I haven't had a chance to get out. No, I went into the blonde wig, didn't I? Yeah, sorry. So yeah, I look rather less than reputable. There. Probably with that look on my face.
One of your friends then, Jimmy?
Yeah, one of my friends. This is Kasha, and this is...
One hand behind my back with the gun in it.
Yeah.
This is
Henry, I
Henry.
say politely, in an Eastern European accent.
I see. Little down market for you, eh, Jimmy?
Can't all be as nice as you, Kasha.
That is very true. You said friends plural.
Yeah, couple of decent lads. One from your own country, in fact, countrymen. They're just taking care of some business. Tying up a few loose ends.
There's a spare office over there if you want to put your things there. Henry, it was?
Yeah, because I think I'm so surprised by what the turn of events that I think I've let slip.
Why don't you go get that set up, and I'll start some coffee, and then you and I can have a conversation, Jimmy.
Yeah, I was just wondering, you haven't got anything in the garage, do you? Because could do with a place to take a van off the road to. Remember Minsk? I was there for you in Minsk.
Hold on. She'll rummage through the purse, and she pulls out a key card. 2 blocks down, parking garage. It's used for backup for me. Park it in there. Usual drill.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's a key to the apartment when you come back.
Oh, I've never needed one of those.
Well, you're going to now, because you're going to be polite about these things.
Of course. Dziękuję.
Yeah, absolutely. While you're gone, I'll check on your friend.
Careful, she's got claws too, Kasha.
She's got a gun, I know that.
Yeah, more than one, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, then we should get along like a barn on fire.
That's what I'm worried about.
And let's cut back to Carl and Peter. And we'll assume that you two have comms, probably sub-vocal, so that she can't hear any of this if you want to communicate about how you want to approach this.
I think there's a good line of questioning there on the chat, Carl, if you want to.
Yeah, there's a very good lineup of the questions. I'm going to combine the first question. So let's start with a little names. Do the name Orpheus or Ruthven mean something to you?
Orpheus is the name of the handler. That's as my understanding, that's up a level from the guy who I interacted with. But I also have the sense that was like pure operational for what we were doing, like a smoke screen, different handle name. But Orpheus is what we had. We're two steps down. Ruthven, I don't know that name.
Very well then. So why did you target Morgana, and what is she actually researching for at the PRX?
So I don't know exactly why, except that my sense is that the people that I work for, that they consider them a rival company. Morgane's like a key researcher for this. Maybe they mostly told me not to look into things there, not to check on what's happening at PRX. I was there to set up for future ops. I had the sense that Morgaine was valuable to whoever like PRX and PRX's bosses and stuff.
Mm. So a question to my fellow players: Do we want to ask about orders and payment? I think we have I think we have their app, so But I can ask this. Do you want to ask this question?
Go ahead and ask it. And
Sure.
Yeah, a bit more about what PRX does, probably.
Yes. How are you communicating with and getting paid?
Typical Dropbox and dead drop payments, standard. I talked to my handler who operates, I think, out of Geneva, and then he talks to his boss. Several steps removed. This is all, I mean, it's more violent corporate espionage, but that happens. I've worked with the Russians before, so I know how that goes.
The other men in the van, in the truck, are they your standard team? Who are they?
My support team here in Paris, and at least another one of them brought in to handle the other end of this op, with a lot of buying of things and getting stuff set up that I didn't have my hands in. And she'll say, they bought a safe house, they dropped documents there, they had the car. Like she runs through that for you because she's not sure what but she's giving that to you because it's easy stuff that she has. So she's feeding you that info.
Okay.
Does she know much about extraction team Traxxas, Carl?
Yeah. Oh my God, so many.
And then who? So we can follow the trail. Who actually is a handler? I mean, she may have a code name for him. Might have something on a phone we could extract.
Yeah.
I'd say that's the two key. Who is a handler is the big one.
If Orpheus is handler of a handler, who is actually your handler?
So you start getting into that area where, she's got to give you specifics. So I'm going to ask for another questioning spend on this because you're going to have to massage this for a bit.
Of course.
The guy I work for calls himself Brett Bankson. He works, I don't know if it's the actual company or if it's cover for a place called AgroWealth. He's out of Geneva. That's who I talked to. That's who I dealt with. When I needed to do face-to-face briefings, I would go to Geneva.
That's good, Carl, because we know AgroWealth. We know there are something to do with it. So that's pretty good. While we're getting this, can I pull up anything about him? Just on a general sort of company personality search for AgroWealth?
Yeah.
Is he a listed employee?
On a quick thing, you will find that there is essentially a person in public relations and projects management named Brett Bankson, who's been on the payroll since like 2005.
That's good, Carl. I mean, she's telling the truth there, so you're getting the right info out of her.
Yeah, I look at her and say, well, so far your information seems to be solid. So do you often work for Brexon in this kind of corporate espionage for AgroWealth?
I don't know if it's AgroWealth. I suspect that that's what's going on. I was in some heat, as I said, back in 2011. They pulled me out, reconditioned me, and put me in places to build up my resume for doing this kind of thing before, again, at the beginning of 2020, they put me in place here at PRX. I mean, this is a long-term operation, so I know it wouldn't surprise me if maybe, you know, it was a whole corporate espionage company or something like that, in the sense that she clearly doesn't know. She just knows she's working for some big hitters.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I picked up through conversation that Bankston's handler operates out of Romania. That this Orpheus is there, but I beyond that physical details, I don't have anything.
Do we have any more questions before we get to the closing of the scene? We can ask about more. Does she know what the PRX do? But she doesn't seem to know much about the PRX.
Do you want to
Or do you
push on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're involved in some kind of hemophiliac kind of research. She might know something about that, which we definitely know is linked to the bullets that shot me and you, Carl.
Yeah.
So,
Not to, you know, interject, but the main thing I think that she could tell us about is the specific thing that was bombed. That area as head of security, you know.
Okay.
Server.
Yeah.
So let's come to the PRX and the bombing. Why the slab? Why the underground? What was actually there?
So I'm going to get one more questioning spend out of you to get like clearly hitting some stuff that now she's digging up the last of the stuff that she has. And she says, look, they didn't have me monitoring stuff all the time. They wanted me in there in case something went on. And they just wanted to bomb the main server so that the research data that PRX had, all of its work was taken out. But I know a few things. Like I'll tell you this, but this is gonna all of this burns me with them.
Keep going.
I got to know that I'm going to walk away from this in some way.
Well, we didn't yet arrive to deciding whether you walk and kind of like takes the gun and like starts like slicing the silencer on the gun. We didn't yet come to the discussion whether you walk from here or not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, are you gonna give me some assurance? Because what I give you now more than puts me in the hopper.
I think tell her, Carl, that we'll leave her in Paris, but she'll walk out of here rather than going out in a body bag or crawling. If she tells us what she knows.
Yeah, I think that's one. So Carl would say, listen, you framed me, I captured you, professional courtesy, things happen. Now that you are blown, I would like you to, except for escaping your former employee and giving me the information, I need a little hit off my back.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to give you something, but we're going to play. I'm going to give you what I have, and then I'll walk out of here because I've then got to go on the run.
I think that's fair, Carl.
Carl, I would say your information is valuable, but I also want some heat off my back. I want you to, You know what you did. You
I
can.
know what I did, but I
run
also
on-
know that I'm as burnt as you are at this point. So I can give you the info that I have.
Well, fair enough.
So they told me to stay away from Barcelona, but I know that they had some information and some tips coming in from there. My sense is that there was some serious stuff going on with Eurydice investments there. The name I got was somebody named Montserrat, Narcus Montserrat. I think he was their informant in Eurydice. Like they might have been the person who gave us the information to be able to do the attack and all that stuff. I also saw some notes on something called Snow Fortune. I saw some pieces on it. It looked like it was some kind of operation being managed by Orpheus's people. But it was weird. It was a location in Austria and looked like it dated back to the late 80s. I only know about that because they were asking me some things about it, to check around in the database to see if Eurydice had any sense of this facility. So I think it's something that my people wanted to keep quiet. And the other thing I know that Morgaine is with some sort of weird, fucked up Greek cult. Didn't particularly try to hide it, but I was told to not dig into that side at all. It would have been good blackmail material, but I was told to let others handle that.
Does anyone remember the name of the cult that the winery owner was part of?
And the Cave du Vin. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Carter like pockets the gun, turns on the chair, grabs the pair of tickets we took off from the dead fake Carl, gives it to her. I don't know. Maybe you can rebook them. Just I hope I don't have to see you on the other end of my site, and anytime soon while I'm still in Paris.
I'm hoping not to be in Paris any longer than is absolutely necessary. They're going to be looking for me just as much as they are you. So I'm going to go lay low.
Back her up, Carl, and we'll kick her out the back.
Yeah, we probably leave her out on the streets and keep going, and we start going.
Okay. Let's take our first break here. We'll go to 10 after, and we'll come back with Rook and Henry, and then we'll kind of bring everybody together. Sound good? Okay. All right, so let's resume. I let the group had a little spitballing session there in between. So we have this catacombs that is outside the wine club. You know that cult that Morgaine was associated with has something going on there. So that's one lead that you have as a sort of a hard point right now. You also have then connections to some people with agribusiness can follow up, or AgriWealth can kind of maybe follow up on that end. We've got both Bankson, who was Natalie's handler, and then whoever this Orpheus person is above. So that's one set of things. We have Barcelona and Eurydice Investments. There's clearly a hub of what's going on, and they also clearly have like someone in their ranks was a trader that you have the name of now. And then you also have this Snow Fortune operation from the 80s. You've got a geographical location basically in Austria. That's some pieces and parts that can get run down. Those are the things off the top of my head that are immediately actionable beyond getting out of Paris before you're arrested for domestic terrorism.
I do have a call to make as well, though, to my counter-terrorist friend who may have interrogated some of these people or gathered evidence. So that's in our back pocket for when we've got a moment to do it.
I'm kind of very lost. Like, if we were to, like, how do we close this thing? Because this seems to be like only getting bigger and bigger. Like, I don't know, is then, because I don't know if you want to achieve something today or other than just like keep digging, because I don't know what else.
Welcome to the conspiracy.
Welcome to genre.
Well, so Jimmy, you are walking back from the parking garage, having gotten the van parked, and we'll assume that information has been transmitted about material that Natalie has given. All of that is out on the table. So when you return back, Henry, when Jimmy gets back, are you still perhaps staring daggers at Cassia? Are the two of you sitting comfortably? What do you think he sees when he comes back?
I think it's one of those "you didn't, did you?" kind of conversations. What, in broad daylight?
Oh, absolutely. Jimmy won't tell you about. Oh, Jimmy.
I see you two got along nicely. I knew you'd be good friends. So much in common.
Yeah, that's true. Sharing a bottle of wine, I think.
And she says, "So you guys are really in the mix right now."
Yeah, hoping to get out of it. Bit of a sticky spider web.
There's a lot of noise going on. I think your names are circulating, but I don't think they've settled on all of you yet.
Yeah, well, we're looking to get out of Paris just as soon as we can get out of your hair as well.
That would be good.
Listen, I've just got to make a call to Audrey. You remember her, right?
Clean lines over there.
Nice one.
So what do you want to do, Jimmy?
I want to ring up Audrey, my counterterrorism agent friend. And I think, as we discussed last time, like I could spend a point of tradecraft to like reassure her and, like set up it as a kind of a, like this was important. I can't tell you what it is, but it's important kind of stuff.
Says, I just want to hear you say that you weren't part of this.
Is it really my style to go blowing things up?
That's not a yes or no answer.
If I'm part of this, I'm part of it the same way you are, Audrey.
Again,
trying to stop it.
But you didn't have anything to do with this bombing.
Didn't have anything to do with that bombing, no.
Okay. So what do you need?
The lads you picked up. What did you get out of them?
Which ones?
Oh, do tell.
No, you tell me who.
Well, let's start with the ones that I turned you on to. In the apartment, near the university.
So what I know and has come down is those were private security for PRX that were here to follow up on an attempted assassination on one of their people. There was some back and forth on that, and then we had to cut them loose.
You had to cut them loose. You couldn't pin them with a sniper rifle in the back of a van. French law's changed since I last checked.
Well, I got word down from on high that they should be cut loose, that we had other fish to fry, that they weren't involved in what was going on, despite them having what we were able to track is that they flew in that afternoon from Barcelona, private plane. We're guessing that this Morgaine woman contacted them. They were following up on that. We cut them loose and essentially dropped them back at the airport, and they and the rest of their team headed back to Barcelona.
But so these ones, they've definitely got friends on the inside, powerful friends from the sound of it.
Listen, what I know about who owns PRX, this Eurydice, there's a guy named Angel Calix, big name financier. And you probably have like in passing, you probably heard the name. Big name financier out of Spain. He is the CEO of Eurydice. He has investments in Paris. My read of the situation is that he called up with one of the ministers and personally intervened to get his people back out.
Well, he's certainly got deeper pockets than me. But, well, that's a shame, but, you know, can't catch them all, can you? I suppose the only question is, who else have you been picking up? What other men have you been seeing, Audrey?
We've been picking up some people that are in the sort of the outer reaches of some names that we got. We picked up a guy who's a cleaner for hire, who cleans places, and some other people. They're
Cleaner,
being,
you say?
yeah, they're being very quiet.
All right. What makes you think that's connected?
Because I'm a counterterrorism expert and I know you.
Know me better than most, Audrey, yeah. But
there are some people who are on the outer fringes of what I assume are your friends' circles who've been grabbed up, but they are, for the moment, staying quiet.
well, it's nice to have friends, isn't it, Audrey? Well, wish me luck, right?
I will wish you luck, and I will, how do I put this? I will drag my feet on this.
I'd appreciate a bit of slowness. Yeah. Well, never rains, but it pours, eh?
That it does.
And then hang up the phone. Yeah.
And Henry, what about you? What are you doing?
I'm trying to work out what's going on here. I can't, you know, I'm still worried about whatever it was that came to the safe house. how did it find it? What was its motives? I'm kind of surprised to be alive, is the honest truth. That's why I'm getting leglessly drunk with my new best friend.
Sure. Do you want to make an occult spend?
Oh, occult. I'd forgotten I had a cult.
You
I
do.
only have one up there. Let's
I know.
spend it. Consider it spent.
I think it is the thing that you're sitting there, and maybe we're getting some flashbacks to things. Getting flashback to the fact that when Morgaine got shot, there was nobody on the street, but then there was this figure that it didn't show up well on camera, and people couldn't quite describe it. To Jimmy and Peter getting a real chill when they were looking at the dead body. To the fact that Carl told you that, there are some vampires, when you're in their presence, your wounds don't heal. And then going to Peter's wound not closing and Carl's wound not closing.
Okay, so
it was there the whole
all the time.
time.
So invisibility, I've added to the list of strong, fast spider climb appeared on camera, but it's capable of invisibility. So it wasn't that these bullets are treated with something. The frigging thing has been following us around, for Christ's sake.
And I think with that occult
Christ.
spend, not invisibility, that it's in your shadow. That's what it does.
And I go around the room turning as many lights on as possible.
If you relay that to us, I'm going to pull a penknife out, slice the back of my hand.
And wait for a bit for the blood to clot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you wait, and there'll be that bit where it kind of itches for a bit. And then you'll see the blood, will stop running. Let's get Peter and Carl back on scene. Have a chance of the four of you together. Let me ask: do you have a picture? Did you already put it in there for your contact there, Jimmy, for Kasia?
I can find one.
Okay, I'll put a thing so we can have that as a visual that you can put in there. So let's start with Peter, because you've kind of been a back seat for a bit here. When you come back to the group, the beautiful French old style Parisian loft, a lot of money here. Like, you look around and the price tags, you can see those in your head, and there's a lot of wealth. And this woman discreetly lets the four of you have your room to have your planning meeting, and gets out of your way.
I mean, I'll turn to Jimmy and say, how long do you think we're safe here? Can we bring things up from the van?
I think we're good here until we move. But I'll be honest with you, my contact in the security forces noose is tightening around us. Jean-Paul's been picked up, and not at Henry.
Yeah, I think our time in Paris is coming to an end. But after what I saw in the Cave de Vin club and that private function they had afterwards, and maybe what you saw in the graveyard, I think that may lead to Elysium. I think that's our last really set of Paris clues.
Yeah.
To follow. I don't know what other people's feelings on that are. I think we need to hit Elysium hard, not physically smash it up, but go there quickly, have a good look around that place, and then maybe we've got some good leads now going abroad, either Barcelona I think that's probably the biggest lead we've got. But we've also got Geneva, and Henry mentioned stay away from Istanbul. Once somebody mentions something, it's a bit like a scab.
Barcelona. Stay away from Istanbul and Barcelona. Just saying.
Yeah, well, it's a bit like a scab, isn't it? Once you mention it, you've got to scratch it.
Just to not forget, Natalie mentioned some location in Austria.
Snow Fortune, but I don't think we've got the
Geneva.
actual location. No, she
Geneva.
said no. Snow Fortune was in Austria, facility in Austria.
Bankson's in Geneva, her handler.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, Handler's in Geneva, but that's the only thing we've got that draws us to Geneva. It's small, but I mean, it's clearly worth exploring at some stage. Barcelona, I think, is the big pull.
Barcelona's where Eurydice is, yeah.
Clearly, you don't like this idea, Henry. You like the ones that weren't
You
mentioned.
weren't in the room with that fucker. Okay?
Bit
When
bright in here,
something
isn't it?
like that says, don't go to A and don't go to B, you go to fucking C.
Want to go on a ship? No.
Is this the reason why there is every lamp is turned on? I thought we were hiding. This looks like we are like announcing everyone light that we are here.
Who clocked up Philip's hue to 100% on everything? I mean, this is mad.
Well, it turns out Henry's not the only one who's been in the same room, is it?
Oh, you've been in the same room as it.
We've all been in
We've
the
all
same
been
room,
in the
is
same
it?
room with it. What I'm saying is, the fucking thing manifested in front of me, all right?
And he spoke Greek.
He had a Greek accent. He talked about British interference in Greece, which frankly is the thick end of 100 years, old. And so I place him somewhere between 1800 and 1910, okay? Which doesn't do me any good in terms of A, B, and option C.
True, but clearly Cave de Vin, that's a big Greek outfit. And, so if we go putting our nose in there, that's probably going to put him out of joint.
Look,
one Greek, two Greeks,
look.
3 Greeks, all Greek.
And if they're bearing gifts, we're in real shit. But I do want to know what's down there.
Okay, so all say yay if that's our next angle of investigation.
I'm really told you want to go into the underground hideout of a bunch of vampires.
Must be a Brit thing.
Where eagles dare, mate.
Carl, you got cut off a little bit there. You were going to say something before?
Yes. I want to say, but Henry, look on the positive, the good side of things. How many people survived 3 encounters with the vampires? You are clocking. You are getting better and better.
Yeah, and I'm running out of lives, mate. I'm running out of lives.
You can always find another one. You're so good at it.
Okay, so Cave de Vin and Elysium and the Graveyard. We could either go for the direct approach, go to Jimmy's GPS coordinates and go underground there, or we could attempt to infiltrate Cave de Vin. I already know it to be quite a high society thing. We could maybe introduce a wealthy Greek shipping woman, Henry, Jackie Onassis. I'm sure she could pull that off. Put her in there. I have some set skills that maybe if I'm captured on purpose, I can then get out of the situation. Maybe Henry could offer me up as some kind of blood sacrifice. I don't know. That's going a bit far.
Can I just be clear? We saw them coming out of the graveyard, going back to the Carve. Doesn't this suggest that the way in is in the graveyard, not in the wine club?
True, but maybe you want to get, we can go in there and do a lot underground, but maybe you want to get some context and some information.
Listen, however, I do know some urban explorers here in Paris. You know, they spend a lot of time down in catacombs and stuff. They might be able to give us a bit of a read on what we can expect down there, where the tunnels link up. They've got maps that, you know, pieced together from decades of research of the city's history and their own exploration. So I don't
It's
know.
pretty
We can
shadowy
maybe.
down there, though, isn't it? Is this going to interfere? We can't take a portable lighting kit everywhere we go.
Can't be jumping at your own shadow. Never get anywhere.
So just like, kind of like, what purpose are we going there? And Carl just like puts like a pack of TNT on the table. Are we taking this with us to leave them like a farewell present? We're going out of Paris. Have fun, guys. Or are we leaving this not today?
You can never go. You can never carry too much TNT, Carl.
Yeah, you know, just Henry was kind of like afraid of pissing him off. So if we blow up this Greek club, he might get pissed off. I don't know.
The only disadvantage with the quiet, gentle entry to this club is the clock, because we think the clock's ticking on us, don't we? Now, you know, I'd make a high society spend to get an invite. That's not an issue, but that's 24 hours from now, 12 hours from now. Do we have 12 hours to play with?
I think we got 12 hours to play with. I think whatever move we make next, though, is going to be our last one.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if necessary, we can live on jambon and cheese, baguettes, croissants, and live in the van.
The question is, do you want to actually be there when the party from the graveyard arrive, or do you want to pay them attention somehow in the early morning or in the afternoon when maybe there are just normal employees around?
I suppose I was going to try and get an invitation to the. I mean, do we think this is a nightly thing? Do we know anything about that?
So here is what you know. You know that that evening, the owner of that wine club kind of waited around until clearly the members arrived, and once a certain number of them had arrived, you know, closed down the club, and then you know, a little while later, they filed across the street to this temple, and the question is, that is an open question, is it a nightly thing? Were they doing that because of the whole Morgaine thing? You know, do they do it regularly? That is an open question right now.
Well, then
I mean,
I've
already made a high society spend, so I could get you maybe in there, maybe have a row. You know, I leave you in there, then you can sort of like get your way in with the owner.
So should we just before we go too far down either route, it seems there's two the ways into it, right? There's breaking in and there's infiltrating via the front door, right? The breaking in can go either through the club or we can try through the catacombs, right? Or the club is Henry goes in and we do the social, we do the, you know, which route are we leaning towards?
And I
think that narrows it down.
And it's important to note we have the club is one area and this catacombs is separate. So they're two different things that might be approached separately.
But they do move from one to the other.
Yeah, but clearly after dark, so you have kind of a timetable on that.
So that I'm very happy to infiltrate the organization, right? Get an invite, and try to find something out on the grounds that then we can leverage what we find out into being better informed when we enter the catacombs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if they move from the club to the catacombs, do they move in that direction?
Yeah, and back again.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what they were just like, Jimmy. We could, you know, we've got a bit of time. We could knock up some, you know, cowled outfits and just tag on the back.
Well, so what it's sounding to me like is that if we send in perhaps Henry and you, Peter.
Yeah, I'm going to extract really early on.
Yeah,
yeah.
We don't know what that's the plan, right? But like the opening site is that you two go in through the front door, and Jimmy will be on point in the cemetery, right? Or maybe, you know, we'll scope out the catacombs, right? But with the goal of hopefully in the evening you guys coming in with the cult people, or maybe just Henry, find, and we'll be on site to maybe take advantage of that with Elysium, right? But we won't push for Elysium until we've scoped out Cave to Van. We'll just be on standby to see if we need to.
I mean, we can
Does
do
that sound
some
right?
prep. You can contact your colleagues, see if they've got any sort of knowledge of, these catacombs.
Yeah.
We can rent an industrial smoke machine to give that nice sort of smoky graveyard look. And we can get, what outfits they wore. We can, come up with some facsimiles of those.
So it feels like we're in the afternoon. We're kind of doing some prep. Nothing's necessarily going to go down until the evening. So let's do kind of a once around and see what people want to do prep on this particular op, or, general research on other things. So Jimmy, you're reaching out to friends, in the urban explorers.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I was looking at is streetwise, mixed with criminals,
Yeah.
taught with fences, knowledge of gangs, and
You want to do a
I figured
streetwise
that-
spend?
Yeah, I'd like to do a
Okay.
streetwise spend.
All right. So you'll call up one of your friends. We'll call them, because I'm imaginative, Renee, and he says, yeah, that he's an urban explorer, but he also uses it as a cover to case out, possible entries into places, and he's also one of those people who sneaks in to steal skulls out because they go for top dollar. And he says, so where's this place you're talking about?
Oh, it's in near that posh place, Cave to Van, in the cemetery over the road.
That graveyard. Yeah. That used to be a good cross point, and was kind of off the main grid from the usual back and forth, because there were a lot of things that were kind of bricked up and a lot of dangerous areas, so they were blocked off. But we used to use it to cross. But what must have been about 5-6 years ago, somebody re-bricked and blocked some areas. I mean, you could still get in there, but it's such a pain in the ass now. But sometimes people do that. Especially if it's connected up to their basement, they make a little fun room down there, real atmosphere, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So it feels like that, or it might have been since it is right below the graveyard, that might have been local authorities, but it doesn't feel like that. It wasn't official marked up or anything.
The bits that have been bricked off.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember? Does any of that connect up with that? You think I might connect up with over the road, the club?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No,
Do you remember any
road,
of that area? Any of your guys ever get down there?
He goes, no. That road, when they put it in, they dug out that whole area. So there's no crossways underground.
Right.
You'd have to go down, and he'd have to go, down 4 blocks and then cut over through the bottom of this butcher's and da.
Yeah. And he hasn't. Does any of his mates? Did they have a poke around in the bits that they can no longer get to?
We haven't, but if you want to get in there, I can get somebody to show you the way. I
remember that time we went down there, and we were over in that area not too long. Why don't you draw it down on a Go on, give me the draw it on a piece of paper for me.
Okay.
Like some of the points where we might be able to either, I suppose, break out through there or break in through there if we wanted to.
And he's clearly like pulling up some of his own pictures and maps and things like that, and he'll sketch out, and he says, "Think this place is probably close, and there's a little bit of saltpeter and moisture there." So the brickwork might be a little bit looser. Try that. You might be able to prise out and get in that way.
Okay. Cool. I buy him a pint.
Okay.
Pass him a cigarette, and head off on my way. We've now got an alternative entry/exit to Elysium, which is always good. I write down a note. Bring crowbar.
Carl, what are you doing prep or investigation wise in the afternoon? Surveilling the area, getting explosives together, researching something else? What do you think?
I really wish Carl was better at researching, but he doesn't do this kind of stuff. I think we see. Oh my god, I had two ideas. I remember only one. Yes. First thing, I wanna check on this bug that I placed in the truck with the other co-workers of Natalie. What did it actually record? Can we what were they planning and so on?
I think what you get is about like 30 minutes. One of them, they wait, one of them steps out and goes back and goes, she's not here. And they go, there's a pause, and then you hear one of them go, oh, and then you hear, the bodies hit the floor, and you hear the sound of somebody like pushing everything together in the place, and then there'll be the sound of as gasoline or some other accelerant is placed on that, as one of them is clearly decides that this shit has gone south, and goes, and you will hear that sound of the flames going up, but in the background of that, clearly somebody standing at a distance from the bug outside, and he is calling someone, and you just hear him say, yeah, tell Orpheus we're burnt here. Something's gone wrong. Natalie's out, cleaned the team, on bugging out.
Good work, Carl. That's good.
Good. And I think after Carl takes some nap, because I think he was out all night, before we go to action, I'm not sure about this outfits. I don't know. I think Carl starts to work on getting us some new IDs so that we can leave Paris easily with some new IDs.
Perfect. That's a network roll.
I was thinking forgery, but can be network.
Oh yeah. Oh, if you want to make it your spend to make it yourself, sure.
Yeah, I have some technical, and I had no idea how to spend it. So
absolutely. Yeah. So we see you with the passport papers. We see you with the microfilm. We see you with all of the RFID things.
Yeah.
You've got your kit for that, and we see you making up. Spend a point. These aren't going to last forever, but they're probably good enough to get out of Paris and to get somewhere else in case you're stopped.
Yeah, that was my idea. So we probably see Carl is also like preparing this like new outfits for everyone, but we will see them like being used later, like a wig, glasses, and stuff like that. So yeah,
absolutely.
Perfectly.
Peter, what are you looking into or doing?
I'd like to do a few things. I'd like to prep a cover for myself, very, very low level cover, but prep quite a large cover for Henry, some sort of Greek heiress. Could be related to Prince Philip. I don't know, something like that.
I think, yeah.
So, and that I'll concentrate on building a structure to that. So if she's quickly looked into, that should cover that.
Let's have you make a cover roll first to see how strong this is.
Cover. Cover, yes. I will spend 2 points
Okay.
on Henry's behalf, and let's. In fact, actually, I haven't got the dice roller up. Give me a sec. That is unusual for me. Let me load my rolls. So here's a roll at +2.
Okay.
Yay! Just enough spent. That's a pretty good. So total of 10.
Okay. So yeah, with that, you'll be absolutely able to get some Greek background, get some identity papers, some things that, could on a casual glance make it look like somebody who might belong to one of these upscale Greek cult kind of things, so that it's not going to seem off base at all for that. Yeah, I think you can generate those two covers. Henry's is super solid. Yours is decent.
Excellent. I would also like to, using chemistry, get hold of a van of dry ice.
Okay. Let's have you make that. Let's just make that chemistry spend. And essentially, we see you go to the company that does that. They load the various styrofoam or probably more ecologically sound containers filled with dry ice.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
things.
I'm thinking of sort of a small carboid, sort of, yeah,
Okay.
carboid. So yeah, quite a bit of that, and I will quickly look up the weather reports for wind direction in that part of the city. So my aim is to blow that through, and I mean, hopefully the last one, only minor. I want to go on a shopping spree to try and buy, based on the description that James will give me. I'd just like to purchase some sort of a long sort of gowns, robes that match a similar description of what James gave me that the cultists were wearing when he saw them last.
Sure, I think that it'll either be disguise or preparedness.
Preparedness. Let's have a 2-point spend there. Spend the points like it goes out of fashion, but hey, that's what it's there for. Total of 7.
So I think you can get things that will look reasonably good in the darkness and so on. They're distinctive enough that you do have to do some work on that. I think you can get 2 of those.
2 cultist outfits.
Excellent. 2
Excellent.
cultist outfits, complete with wavy daggers.
I'm spent out. I'm
Okay.
pretty happy.
What about you, Henry?
Yes, I think that it looks like my cover is fairly solid, so I don't need to worry about that. What I do need is do I need an invitation?
You have the sense, given what Peter picked up before, and given what you know about this Theosoi cult, is that you don't necessarily need an invitation. You just kind of have to have a reference and talk knowledgeably, and that likely it is that you might be able to essentially talk your way in with enough knowledge.
Okay. Then I think I spend my time researching Greek cults.
Okay.
Then, and I don't know. Is that going to turn into is that high society? No, dress the part. No high-ranking persons.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing, because you're more concerned with less the nitty-gritty of the cult than you are of who are the people we're involved with, as what are the names I need to drop, that kind of thing.
Fine. And then Rhea Andriakou will telephone, forgotten his name, Angelos Konikos,
Okay.
and drop a few names.
Yes. You know, he does that thing once you start talking, when you drop a name. Oh, yes. Yeah, you know, knows the name. Yes. Do you know where we're at in Paris?
Well, I drop another name. Told me you're at blah Rue de Watt, opposite Montparnasse Cemetery.
You are in luck. We'll actually have a smaller gathering tonight. It is our regular meeting. We had something come up yesterday that was a kind of a thing, but we're having our regular gathering tonight. If you want to come, we ask for a modest donation, of course, towards the libations.
Oh, that's a trivial matter. I'll be bringing a friend who actually I think has visited your carve before,
Ah, ah,
but not so to speak stayed.
come. We usually gather about 10, and then we relax and enjoy each other's company for a bit before we head over to the site. So yes, we'll be looking forward to seeing you. We're
So I look forward
so
to that,
looking forward to
Angelos.
having you.
Yeah, I've got a horrible feeling I know where this is going. Okay. Sigh deeply.
That cover was professional. You are who you are.
Let's take 5 and come back with us at the Cave du Vin. Okay. So it's that kind of cold, drizzly night that we've established here in Paris. We have the van with the materials parked one place, and my assumption is we have Jimmy and Carl kind of in the area, keeping an eye out, watching for surveillance, checking out if there's anything unusual in the area. It seems very matter of fact. There's definitely a higher tension level, a little more police presence that comes through just because of the recent terrorist attack. But that seems to be the general alert. You're in a good position to have eyes. You're probably in the cemetery, to have eyes on the wine club, to have eyes elsewhere. And I'll assume, Carl, that you don't have on you, but you have ready access in the van or stowed away somewhere any kind of additional equipment or explosives, so that if you do get pulled over by a gendarme, they don't go, "What's all this then?" and find a case of C4 in your bag.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Especially if there is higher police presence, we might have stowed it somewhere close by.
Yeah. So a little chilly. What do you look like? What does your Greek heiress outfit look like, Henry?
I think that this is Rhea. Rhea is sophisticated. She is dressed in a good Paris gown for evening dress. It's a dank night, so it comes with an attractive shawl, which probably has worked into it. I've picked up some kind of piece of material that has some Greek connotation. Maybe it's around, the Orthodox cross. I don't know. But certainly, I think she's wearing an Orthodox cross.
And how are you dressed, Peter? Just like behind you.
Yes, I'm going to channel my inner Jason King.
Okay.
He looks kind of Greekish.
Yeah, in a very late 60s, early 70s way, yes. So the two of you will arrive. There are a few people in the club drinking. There are clearly some people who have already arrived for the ceremony. And when you come in, Konikos kind of looks and waits and will come over and greet you. You must be, what was the cover name?
Rhea Andriakou.
Rhea. So good to meet you. And this is your friend?
Indeed. Yes.
And
this is
Jason King.
Jason King. Well, most of us are here. Why don't you go up stairs and mingle? The wine, cheese, and things are set out there. So we're waiting on a few more people. When they arrive, I'll clear the house, and then we'll get started.
When I get upstairs, I will be kind of casting my eye over. Is there anyone here that I recognize from French society?
No one
below the top rank.
It's certainly below the top rank. But there are people here, and while they are certainly into the whole Greek thing, they are very much speaking French. You would guess that probably most of them don't speak Greek. But when you get upstairs to this sort of meeting room, there are these brilliant frescoes that have kind of been done, like imagine like a modern version of a fresco, like done in a kind of tagging style that has a weird kind of underworld look to it. Clearly he spent some money to have that here, but there are also some classical maps of the Greek underworld and the different chambers of that. It's all done up to that. And people are kind of mingling around here, talking and drinking wine and chatting. What do you want what do you want to do? Are you just trying to blend in, or are you trying to gather some information here?
Yeah, I'm trying to gather some information. I'm trying to find out, what's going to happen later. I've got a horrible suspicion I know, but I am still keen to get some confirmation.
So why
Are
don't
any
you?
other people eating?
Several of them, yes.
Okay, that's good enough for me. The food's good.
Wine and cheese.
Okay.
Yeah, the company is human.
Okay.
That's good.
So you will mingle, make a high society spend.
I will make that spend. Spending willy-nilly from high society.
They'll talk about the fact that, this is the regular ceremonies, and it's very clear that there's going to be some blood involved, because a couple of them mentioned about, my shoes got, we had to throw them away after last time. But they also talk about it with a reverential hush, like something happens. Like that the ceremony they do is not just like a faux religious ceremony. But then the other thing you'll get is that they had a kind of an emergency meeting yesterday, where one of their members was injured, and they took, came and took care of her, and then some of her friends arrived and took her away. They don't know, but they think it's related to the terrorist bombing, that maybe she was targeted, and there's a little kind of paranoia here, like maybe there's someone after us, maybe Muslims hate us, that kind of thing. All the kind of the sort of the high-end wealthy racism comes pouring out in the course of this. You are muted.
Yeah, I'm sure that Greek-Turkish antipathy comes up.
Absolutely.
And of course, Henry, to play the part, kind of giggles and smiles at these references. And also, this may not turn out the way that I thought it was going to turn out, is what she's thinking.
Okay. And Jason King, what is it that you're doing during this? Just mingling? What are you trying to do? Muted?
This is not my area of expertise. I know when I'm beaten. So I'm going to keep the lowest profile under my massive wingtip collars that I can possibly achieve.
Okay.
Basically, I'm going to be the very silent partner, the browbeaten husband. I don't mind which, but literally, I am there just to be hardly seen and definitely not heard.
Do you want to make any kind of investigative spend or something?
I truly think I've got nothing. I've burnt my high society the previous night getting in here.
Get some interesting academic.
Yes. I don't. Culture. I've got culture. I can investigate on that front.
I have to say, I was wondering about history, because that covers archaeology and a load of interesting stuff.
Yeah. So what do they know? So
where does this come from? This cult is what I'm interested in.
Yeah, and how does it link to this old cemetery in Paris? What links the two through history?
What you'll be able to pick up is it doesn't seem like there's a direct correlation, though of course there is a lot of sort of French renaming of Greek terms and things like that, and they make much of that, but you have the sense that that's very much kind of a cover here. The sense that you get is that this is a convenient place for them to go to, and and to feed the as they put it, the ceremony to feed the spirits of the dead.
Okay, switching the conversation more to a sort of a money type thing. I've got accounting. So, speaking about money, I know these people are filthy rich.
Mhm.
So, any of it linked to any of the places we know? Any
Yeah,
of the money
I think one of
coming
the
out of
things.
Barcelona,
Yeah,
Geneva?
you won't get to necessarily the Barcelona thing from them, but
That's
a
good.
few of them talk about the donations they've made to some of the Greek Orthodox charitable organizations operating in Istanbul, and that the society gathers donations to send to there, and that's an important thing that they're doing. They say it in the most condescending kind of,
We
it's
help
sort of
the
a third
orphans.
world nation, sort of.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm more than happy with that, and I will then slowly blend into the background as being as Jason King as I can possibly be.
And at a certain point, your host, Konikos, will come upstairs. He's kind of smiling, and he says, now we have some new members joining us tonight, guests, and he drops some names because he clearly wants to impress people. And why don't you, and he gestures to a woman who will go over and unlock a closet and get out these cultist uniforms. We said, let us have a drink before we head over. Our libations are prepared there for us to dispatch, and while we will not quite have the double wonders that we saw last night, we shall at least have a singular vision this evening. And everybody drinks and they chat, and they pass out these cloaks. And Konikos comes over and says, the neighbors just think that we are the strange ones. We go over, play with the spooks in the cemetery. But do not worry about that. I know that might be on your mind.
No, the truth is that when you wish to court the spirits of the dead, you are often a source of ridicule. But you, Mr. Konikos, are a true believer, as I believe am I.
Are you? Have you seen? Have you seen the heroes?
I have seen things on occasion, and I want to make a questioning spend.
Sure.
To try to work out what he has seen without telling him what I have seen.
And he says, then perhaps you have seen another bearer.
Another bearer?
Yes. Let me get the I too am a Philomeli.
Now, if I had any occult left, I'd spend to know what that meant, but I haven't.
He says,
Still do know something about occult, though.
It definitely
yes,
is a Greek term. It's like someone who's joined, like a partner, or connected, or a mate, or something. He says, I too am a Philomene, and yes, I shall introduce you this evening. Come. And you can tell that he is bearing one of these shadows.
Ah, okay. Oh shit. Okay.
And he takes your hand and he says, come with me, walk with me, let us go.
And I think that, of course, because we're wired up,
Oh yeah.
both Carl and Jimmy will be getting all of this.
So Carl, Jimmy out here in the cold. Jimmy, you're through a pack and a half probably by this point. Because as you well know, if you're out in the cold and damp, those cigarettes, they get damp, and then and then on to the next one. And then you've seen the shop close up. You've seen them move people out, and then the procession will start, and they will come out, and they move across the street and into the cemetery grounds here. It looks like Konikos is at the lead, and he definitely has Henry nearby, and Peter following up behind, and they start heading into here so they can get a sort of main line of sight. What do you do, Carl? They look like they're going to move to find their entrance to the catacombs and make their way down.
I think as the camera swoops around to our hiding spot, we see Carl just like turn off his phone, and Carl was researching. I wonder what a spend from Vampirology can tell me about the. Oh my God, the cult name is Thiasoi Undead. Like, what do we know about their beliefs? How they believe? Do they believe that they can be like, how to protect from them, or how to like embrace them? And can I get it from the Vampirology, or is this
so
a different?
I'll give you what you get. You think that Thiasoi is simply the name of like the cult, like that's what they call themselves. But what they're speaking of is these shadowy things that if everything is as they say, these Philomelli, they are servants of these vampires. They hide in the shadows, and they can stay incorporeal or make themselves stronger. And the other thing it is that they are said to have great hearing and vision, but are particularly responsive to the presence of blood. And you certainly will be able to confirm what you earlier got about vampirology, that these, what we're going to call Orphic vampires, Greek vampires, are ones that if you are wounded, those wounds won't close. And also they are dangerous to be around because they do cause those issues with hemophilia and bleeding and so on.
Does it cost me a spend, or is it like just because I researched this?
I think that's a spend for that information, and you are certain that wood, that the wood with the leaves that you have on it, well, it's not as fresh as it was 2 days ago. Is a useful weapon, at least to repulse in wounding it.
Okay. Yeah, I look at Jimmy and say, so do we join them, or do we break into the manager's office?
I think we should join them.
Cool. So Carl just like quickly grabs those like branches and just like, sharpens it so that we have like a fresh wood, at least at the end, at least more fresh. And hands one to the Jimmy, because I think we have two, and says, well,
we have them, Carl. I would say that perhaps there's a preparedness spend for if we don't decide exactly where they are at a time. So you have one in your hand. Let's see where the other one is in the future.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sharpen my piece, and and we try to go and join the procession of the cultists.
You have taken the time to do these disguises. There is a certain amount of spend. I think this is a disguise or cover roll with advantage. So you can spend what you want and make that roll to make sure that neither of you stand out. Who wants to make that roll?
Can do it.
Go for it, Carl.
Yeah, I'm going to. Let's spend 2 on this. Let's spend 2 on this. We see like remotely triggered dispenser with this like, what did you get, Peter? Was like a cold ice?
The dry ice, yeah.
The dry ice. We see like remotely triggered dispenser to just like, start to release it, and so that it's even more foggy.
Perfect.
And yeah, Carl is leading us like sneaking just close to the wall, and then just going out from the shadow to join them.
So that I'll say then that fog will be enduring. It won't just last for this first part. It'll be hanging around in the atmosphere wildly. Let's have you make that roll. There's almost no chance you could fail.
Yeah, it's on -2. It's on 11.
11. So you will fall in. It's dark. It's foggy. They're concentrated in these new visitors. You go down. You'll see Konikos. You go down a ways, get to a kind of a reinforced door. He unlocks that. He walks into a catacombs cavern that opens up. There are benches around here. There's another set of doors that you kind of go through to get inside that clearly this is not going to be casually stumbled over. There are markers on the walls. There's sort of ceremonial relics and things, very Greek around. There's a sort of platform altar at the end where you can see there's some cloth covering it, but there are clearly 3 mummified bodies there. And you can see that there are platters on stands of silver, and you can see that there is dry blood all over the place. And you can see that there are a couple of people there with, we're going to veil it, sacrificial animals that are set there, and they have knives at the ready, and they're inviting everyone to come in. And it's dark enough around the edges of this place because it's that sort of candlelight and shadows that Jimmy, Carl, you can easily blend in. And Konikos goes across to one of these animals, and he looks back to you, Rhea, and he holds out his knife to you. Come, we will give you the first cut.
And Henry is nothing if not committed to her art. And so she takes the knife and sacrifices one of the animals.
And blood, that they've got it held. They've clearly done this before, so there's no crying out or mewling or anything of that sort, but the blood will spill out, and it's hot and warm in here, and the smell of that coppery, and then you see the shadows thicken behind Konikos, and you see this figure start to form out of the shadows. It's tall, angled face, sort of wrapped in shadow and silver veins, and it comes forward and it starts lapping the blood up into it. And as it does, it becomes more and more substantial and taller and taller. and there's chanting around as they stand back as this vampire licks the last of the bowl clean to become fully solid and real. What do you do, Jason King?
I think I'll be quite sort of stunned at this.
Yeah, I think actually I need everybody to make a cool roll here
Well,
for the stress thing. Actually, now I just realized that that's probably a situation to do that. Everyone's going to mark 2 stability, and make a cool roll for me.
I'm a bit low on stability. Okay, let's spend 2 on. Cool.
So what kind of consequences are we talking here?
Consequences right now are essentially on a 10 plus, you're going to be able to hold yourself together. On a 7 to 9, you're either going to take additional stress or have to mark a consequence. On a 6 or less, it means you're going to kind of lose it here publicly.
Lose it like go catatonic or
Like blow your cover.
Well, I've rolled a 7, but I've spent 2 cool.
Okay.
So I get 7 to 9.
7 to 9. So let me mark it down. We'll come back on that. What about you, Jimmy?
I got 12.
12. You're sharp as nails. Keep yourself together. Peter?
9.
Okay. And Carl?
I'm still pondering about it. How much do I want to spend it over here? I mean, I don't mind blowing my cover, although I might blow other players' ideas. So
Yep.
Blowing your own cover of I shouldn't be here anyway.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, man. Like you do whatever feels like what Carl would do.
Yeah, rolling flat. Let's see what the dice would want me to do over here. 10.
So you bite down as this thing. Jimmy, Peter, please mark another stability.
I
got 12.
I need to roll because I thought that 7 was mine, but I think it was Paul's.
Oh, okay.
So let me roll and add 2 to it. That's better. That's an 11.
Okay. So only one person missed then, right? Okay. So essentially you'll have lost a total of 3 stability there. And you're probably, wide-eyed as that is going on. Jimmy, what do you do?
Like under the shadow of my robe, I'm like, fuck, and I quickly case the room to see, is there any security?
There are 11 cultists, 1 way out, and a vampire and your team.
But no enemy agents in this room, security guards or anything like that.
No security guards in this room. Seems like we don't need it. But you do know, because of the information you've gotten, you do know where the weak brick is if you need to kick your way out of here.
Yeah, I've got a crowbar slung up my sleeve.
Okay. So what do you do?
I circle around to the edge of where this vampire is, and I'm just there, and we don't know anything more yet, so let's see how this plays out. So I'm ready to basically jump in and save my team.
Holding position there. Henry, you're really the closest to this thing as it forms.
I know. I'm so tempted because we don't know where that other piece of oak is, do we?
Well, neither me or you have got it, that's for sure.
Why not?
There's no reason that a Jimmy Rook couldn't have slipped that into your hand as he walked through the room, right? That's what preparedness is for.
Yeah.
I thought you two had it, but
no. Well, that because Jimmy deliberately said no. Let's not specify who has that. just in case.
I am fine with Jimmy saying that we now establish that you have one and Carl has the other.
I've slipped it into Henry's palm at some point.
Okay, so I don't need to make a preparedness.
I don't think so. You've got enough problems on your plate right now.
Yeah, well, I think that I will invoke martial arts.
Okay.
So this isn't against a lesser foe or group of troops, I assume.
This is not.
Alternatively, spend this to reduce the superiority of a foe you're engaged with until your next action.
So this comes out and you will jab this in to this thing.
Yes.
And there will be a scream that will shake the walls in here when it does it. And where you hit it, you see it kind of fall back and it almost kind of like goes into smoke before it reforms there. And it is still moving, but certainly focused on this thing that is stuck into it. Let me.
And I'm hoping that
yes,
someone else will take the initiative while it's reduced the while its superiority is reduced.
Carl. You're in a small chamber with 11 people plus your agents plus this vampire. What do you do?
Yeah, I guess Carl takes a few steps forward, looking like he's going to provide help to the woman who attacked our holy whatever. But in fact, we see he just like takes a few steps forward. We see this like the end of the branch coming from his cultist sleeve, and he jumps it from behind, and he jumps the vampire from behind with it.
Let's have you roll essentially combat for temporarily against an equal foe.
Yeah. I have no idea how this will go because we don't know how to kill it, so I don't know. Yeah, rolling +2. It's a 5.
That is a 5. So you go to jump at it, and it turns, and this hand comes out, and it swings, and it. Yes.
But I invoke my talent blocker.
What? Oh, no! What?
I whip out the that crowbar that I have on my sleeve, comes up and smacks into that hand before it can be.
What does that do?
Spend this to negate harm dealt to me or a nearby ally from a melee exchange.
So that crowbar goes flying. Carl, you stumble back. This thing has regained its position. That oak is on the floor somewhere, but your throat is not taken out with 4 harm. Jason King.
I will grab the fallen oak and with my usual it's melee combat, scream very loudly and charge at it in a classic cultist type pose, actually.
Okay. So let's have you make that fighting roll.
Okay, I'm going to spend 2. Eight.
This is against a superior foe. Since it has regained its advantage, you can choose deal no harm, but you get to narrate how you're pushed back or deflected, or exchange harm with your foe and suffer an additional cost.
I will exchange harm and suffer an additional cost.
Okay, so you're going to take 3 harm.
Yep.
And I think you are flung back into these cultists who grab you and they pull you down. So you've got a group of them that are like holding you down right now. Let's have you roll take the hit. You'll roll that with a +2. 9. Choose one. Lose your footing, drop something important, lose track of someone or something you're supposed to be on top of, or give a tick of the edge to your foe.
Do I still have the oak branch, or have I left it in it?
You do still have the oak branch.
Well, I think then I will have dropped that.
That is lost in the scrum at this moment.
Yep.
You will see Konikos is turning and is coming at you, Henry, and it's just an absolute mess in here. The lighting is bad. There's all these shadows. The candles are around, and now there's some sort of like wild boar, the other sacrificial animal that has gotten loose in here, and it's an absolute madhouse. What do you do, Henry?
I think that I want to invoke two talents, because I'm coming to the conclusion at the moment that this is probably not winnable. We had a tiny window of opportunity. So I'm just going to I'm gonna kind of, I just want to look around the other players. Do you want to bail, or do you want to pursue this? Because I don't want to do something that ruins what everyone wants to do.
Just fucking stabbed it. Kill it.
Kill it. We're not going to get a better chance, I don't think.
Okay. Is it possible to take the same talent twice?
No.
But Carl had the talent to unspend your talent.
Oh, you magnificent.
Take advantage, and I basically come at the vampire, giving Henry another shot at it.
I will uncheck martial arts.
Okay. And come at it again.
Again.
All right. So tell me what that looks like this time.
Okay, well, now it's turned away from me, I think.
Yeah, and Kanikos is trying to get at you.
And I'm going to try to ignore Kanikos and again stab it from behind.
And I'm going to give you, because this is actually a chance to give you some information that may be even better for you. I think that when you go to do that, Konikos gets in the way, and that thing will cut into his neck, and that blood, I mean, you're hit in the face, blood sprays, and you see this vampire turn to you and falls on Konikos. It can't help itself.
Addiction.
And it just starts, its mouth goes to his neck and it starts drawing that out. And I will say that now you have essentially you are on equal scale. Jimmy, what do you do?
It's fucking head off.
Yeah, I grab that dagger or whatever it was that was being used, and I try and take its head off.
Okay,
like leap on it and from behind like a garrote, you know, probably slicing my palm up.
Have you roll fighting?
I will spend 3 points, I think. Oh, you know what? Are we near the end of the thing? I think we are, aren't we?
Yeah.
So I'll spend 4.
Well, you can only spend 3. 3 is tops.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I spend 6. Can't lose. 10. Glad I did it.
10. Deal harm to your foe and choose 2. Deal more harm, suffer no harm, give or take advantage forward, shift the edge, reposition the conflict, or another benefit. And yes, you can change the same thing twice.
Oh, okay. So I really want to kill it, basically.
Okay.
Like more than anything.
Do you want to deal harm?
Yes, if that's what it'll take to kill it. I was going to say that the extra benefit is I take its goddamn head off.
I think you will stab into this thing, and it's caught because it is drinking the blood, and that blood is making it corporal. And it's trying to break out of that. It's still got the stake, and you're stabbing into it. It is not quite dead, but you just do that, and one hand comes back, and that claw rips across you for 3 harm.
Okay.
Can I please have you make that roll?
Jimmy's not doing too good. So what am I rolling?
You're rolling. Take the hit with a +2.
Okay. It's a 9.
That is a 9. Lose your footing, drop something, lose track of something. Give a tick of the edge to your foe. If the foe gets the edge, you're rolling at disadvantage.
And that's off 1 tick.
That's off 1 tick.
Okay. Can I mark a condition?
Yeah, you could mark a condition to negate the whole hit. And
Oh,
then you wouldn't
okay.
have to even roll take the hit.
Oh, okay. I think I will mark the condition then, and I think I will mark unfocused.
Okay. Yeah, you are. It clips you and sends you back. You kind of lose track of what's happening in the room. Carl, you're bleeding. You see these people holding Peter down. They have. There's some ritual daggers and stuff around, but this vampire is drinking and it's getting stabbed. What do you do?
Just taking a quick stock at the situation. How much Jimmy managed to get? Did he like cut slightly at its head
Oh,
or
he's
skin?
too thick to the hilt, stabs in the back of this thing.
Yeah, I think Peter will have to like deal with it himself. I think we see like Carl just like picks from his pocket like a pack of glow sticks, and he just like throws it in the air so that the glow sticks will not everywhere, and that they will have like the vampire will have no shadows, at least like around it, in the very like nearby place. I'm not sure how do we want to resolve it. Like a tactician, like a gain edge. Does it count like an edge? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll let you do is I'll let you let's see, this attention. Yeah, do a military science spend. And I think you can create advantage for your action on that.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, I will like throw this like glow sticks.
Yeah, and probably more like a flare is what you
Yeah,
need in here.
sounds even better. Like I like pop up a flare so that just like right next to it, there are like no shadows for it to escape, because so far we have learned that this is like escaping to the shadows, or it's like made from shadows. And
you do see that Peter doesn't have that piece of oak in his hand, so it's somewhere around.
Okay, yeah, it seems that it might be kind of useful.
I'll tell you what.
Does it look like this like group of cultists are like piling on people and on Peter, and Peter is like on the floor?
Yeah, he's got knocked down by them.
Yeah, I think Carl draws a gun and just like shoots the group to like clear them out and maybe like find this like this piece of oak. Like, of course, the group of enemies.
Make a shooting roll for me.
Yeah. I will spend 2. This is to help Peter and to find the oak because it's somewhere beneath them. Let's see how it goes. It's an 11.
There's 11. So you deal harm and change the positioning to your benefit. So there is that thing where pop, 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 and they go, they scatter back when gunfire explodes in here. Peter, they're off of you. You see the oak. You see this thing, shrieking. Henry's in front of it. The Kaniko's, it's still attached like a leech to Kaniko's neck. Jimmy is staggered back. You have.
I think now that Carl's cleared the crowd, I will grab the oak and attempt cultist charge version 2 into the vampire.
So let's have you roll fighting.
I will use the last of my
take my advantage from popping the flare.
Okay, I will still roll at +2. So I need 3 6-sided dice with a modifier of +2. Sorry about that, folks. That's really shitty. A 1, a 1, and a 2. So the best I manage is 5.
But you have advantage because of the flare.
That's why I rolled 3 dice.
Oh
A
shit!
1, a 1, and a 2. So I picked the 1 and the 2, which gives me 3. Add 2, and that gives me 5. That's the luck of the dice.
Got a phone that's ringing. I want to make sure. Okay. So you go rushing up, and this thing, hang on a second.
Americans get so many spam calls. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's scammer call. So it like drives its hand out and grabs onto you.
Whoa. I had a spare talent. I've just filled it up with blocker.
Oh, how do you stop this from killing Peter?
Because I've still got the other piece of oak, and I drive it into its back.
I don't
All
take
right.
condition, but thanks.
Mark that talent,
Yeah.
and I'll give you the last shot before this advantage is gone.
Okay, so I'm rolling with advantage, and this is fight, yes?
Yeah, blood is everywhere. It's slick on the floor. You're in this crowded place. That now there's still the echoing sound of gunfire. That's now smoke from that muzzle flash. There's a flare going off, which is creating all that fire. This thing is trying to rip its mouth away from Konikos, and
I spend 3.
Have a good roll.
Oh, that is a 6, a 2, and a 3. That is 9, 10, 11, 12.
And I think it's when it looks up again, it kind of pulls its mouth off. It tried to hit it, Peter, and that's when that oak thing goes right into the forehead, right into the skull. Hear that cracking sound, and then smoke, and you can feel the gates of the underworld open and swallow this soul back down into it. And all that's left is the screaming and the running and the bleeding. And we will take up in the aftermath of that next time. Refresh everything for end of mission. And you get an advance. And let me get the thing. So when you advance, you get 3 points to spend. You can spend 1 to get 3 general points. You can spend 1 to get 1 investigative, and you can spend 1 to get a talent. You can only take 1 talent, though. Can't take like multiples of those, though you could take multiple general.
So in total, we get like 3 advances. So we can take 9 to general, or 6 to general and a talent. Yes.
That is correct.
Okay. So I have to up my earlier advance because I thought we picked 2, and I only picked 2 the last.
Oh,
The prequel.
that's right.
Cool.
Playing
Well,
on
I'm
hard mode,
exhausted.
Pavel.
Hmm?
Pavel's playing on hard mode.
Yes.
Not taking his advantages. Yeah, that was brutal.
Do you mind doing a quick stars and wishes? Alan, I'm going to start with you at the top corner of my screen here.
Yeah, stars for that last scene was very intense, Lowell. That was beautifully run. That's my big star of the night. I'm conscious of the time, so I won't hog the star.
Any wishes?
Wishes? No, I just don't want to. I want to go to Switzerland or Austria.
Fair enough. Jimmy?
Stars. I'm enjoying the fact that the conspiracy spreads outwards in Inferno. It's great to have that around there, and we got to kill a vampire. I love that. That was great. Wishes. I hope that these vampires appear down the line and not a different type of vampire, because now that we've got more info about them, I'm thinking of ways that we can exploit like their hunger for blood and stuff like that. You know. So I would love to see them again in the future.
It's at least one of the two groups.
Yeah.
Any wishes besides that?
Barcelona.
Okay. Paul?
Yeah, I mean, that was really intense, Lyle. Really good finish. And to be honest, to the rest of the players, I think there was some good investigation by everybody tonight. And I really liked Carl's interrogation at the start of the night.
Mm-hmm.
That was played really, really well. Everyone was involved, but Carl really drove that. And I thought that was really good.
Wishes?
More of the same.
Okay.
Really happy.
And Pavel?
I really enjoyed the session. Thanks for the help with the interrogation scene. I loved how you framed the infiltration of the name of the club, Cave Duvin. It was perfect to set up the cover and then to infiltrate. I really liked, Alon, the way you spoke with the vampire and that you actually gave it what it wants. It was like really cool. Whether you resist or go with it, it was really cool to see. Will, awesome. I like seeing your character in action, driving, attacking the vampire, going for it. Yeah. I'm really happy that we got some more info now about this really conspiracy. So now we know what's happening. Wish-wise, yeah, I look forward to this chase. I'm not sure how much is it ready, but I look forward to testing it because yesterday I was listening to a podcast from Mr. Ted Mark podcast about chases, and they were talking about the base version of the game. So I'm really looking forward to how Lowell modified it. So now it should be better than the base version because we have better,
There's
more
the pressure
fun
on me there. Okay. I appreciate that. I had a great time today running this. You're all dynamite, and I love that we got to a big climactic kick a vampire's ass scene there at the end. So it was awesome. I will see everybody next week. Have a great rest of your week, and hopefully nothing burns down between now and then. And I will talk with you all later.
Have a good one, guys.
Before